In last episode, we talked about Mojo's value. In this episode is about the 4 dramatic moments in a value's life. When a value is born, when it's copied, when it's moved, and when it dies. Mojo lets you write a little code that runs automatically at each of these moments. Most of the time, you won't. The compiler handles it for you. But understanding what's happening underneath is what turns a struct into a real, well-behaved type. So why care? Think of a type that holds something beyond plain numbers, a block of memory, an open file, a connection. When it's copied or when it's died, and who handles that? These all are dunder methods on a struct. The same double underscore family as init and str string. And Mojo calls them for you at exactly the right moments. Birth is the constructor. Init, you already know this one. The out self convention means that self starts uninitialized and it's your job to fill in every field. Here it's an account. Out self, then we set the owner and the balance. If you forget to initialize a field, your code simply will not compile. And for the struct, that's just a bundle of fields like this. Writing that by hand is busy work. Field-wise init generates it for you. At the other end of the life is delete, the destructor, del. Mojo calls it automatically at the moment of ASAP destruction we discussed last time. The instant the value is last used, its job is to release whatever the value was holding. Notice the dinit self convention. It says this method gets the value one final time, exclusively, and the value is considered destroyed when the method returns. That exclusive access is what makes tear down safe. And for simple types that do not hold any special resources, you don't write a destructor at all. Mojo gives you a trivial do-nothing one. Now the part that's most worth getting right here, copy and move, the 2 ways a value travels. When you write b equals a, Mojo has to decide. The rule is simple. If a is still used, afterwards, it makes a copy. If a's last use is right there, off in the caret, it makes a move. You control each with a special constructor. And Mojo only recognizes them if you write them exactly. A copy constructor with a keyword only copy argument. And a move constructor with a dinit take. Both are just overloads of init. The dinit on the move constructor says the source is consumed, which is why we can transfer its field value with a caret. And here is the relief. For ordinary types, you never write this copy and move constructor by hand. You just declare the right trait and the compiler generates them for you. There are 3 movable the value can be moved. Copyable, it can be copied explicitly by calling .-copy. And implicit copyable, it copied with a plain b equals a. Now implicitly copyable refines the other 2. So conforming to it gives you all 3 behaviors all at once. Now b equals a just works and both are valid independent values. So why 2 copy traits? Honestly about the cost. Cheap types like integer and string are implicitly copyable. But heavier collections like list are only copyable. So duplicating one is something you have to ask for out loud with a .-copy. So in practice, you write one of these and move on. A cheap thing is implicitly copyable. So b equal a works. A heavy thing is just copyable. So you must write .copy. Sometimes a value shouldn't be copyable at all because copying would not make sense. Picture a unique handles to a hardware resources. You can make it movable but not copyable. And Mojo will let you hand it around with a caret but refuse to duplicate it. The copy line right here is a compile error. And rarely a type is neither copyable nor movable. It can only ever live in one place. Mojo's atomic type is one example. You won't need it very often. Let's see 3 or 4 stages deliberately. A report announces itself when it's drafted. A custom destructor announces filing and a copy does the right thing. You can trace the output in your head. So two drafting lines, the title and the two filing lines, or each value reaches the end of its life. Here you wrote almost none of it. The language, it wrote it for you. This is where the Mojo's promise gets concrete. You decide exactly what happens when your types are born, duplicated, moved, and destroyed. And the compiler guarantees those rules everywhere with no runtime overhead. And the most common reason to write this by hand is raw memory, which brings us to the next chapter called pointers.